Hello everybody. I am doing a pre-recorded video instead of live this time. Out here with my doggie at the little dog park, just cruising around with her on the bike like I usually do every day. And I thought I would do something a little bit different and just talk to you all again because some of you, well most of you, all of you have seen the music I've done, listened, seen the videos, but probably most of you don't really know my background and probably even just generally what I think about everything that's been going on in the world the last few years, other than what you've heard and seen from my lyrics and videos, obviously. But so I was in the Marine Corps music field. I was with the Marine Corps band for 15 years, and until 2015 when I retired. I was fortunate that I was able to retire early, even though it was a tough decision. And I've been a musician my whole life, had an interesting childhood, which I won't get into, but I've had a lot of life experiences, and in some ways I feel like I've lived 2 or 3 lives already. Just from the lessons I've learned, being able to travel to different countries and be exposed to different cultures and just so many things. It's hard to briefly sum up some of the experiences I've had, both good and not so good, because I've dealt with a lot of people too. I've had lots of good bosses and teachers. I mean, dozens and dozens, whether musical or leadership related. And so I also know how much of a difference it makes to have a good boss on top. It's not everything. If you're in a working environment where you're working with different people, yes, it's also critical that you have good people to work alongside your peers and all that. But it really does make all the difference in the world, just who the man or woman is on top, leading and making the changes, whatever those are, and those kinds of things. So this is kind of a weird segue to just talk about, even though I'm going to keep a lot of this very generic, that I was one of the crazies that was supporting Trump and talking about all the things I was seeing him do in the background, including with the military and executive orders and things, before most people were aware of it or even told those kinds of things from other people around them. And a big part of the reason of that, or reasons, one is because of my discernment. I've always had great discernment, whether I was doing things really for the wrong reasons or good reasons, but that was something that God gifted me with. And it's been both a great skill and a very challenging one to have in life, along with my empathy, because I can feel and see what people are thinking. I'm kind of like a human lie detector. And so whether I was seeing somebody talk on TV or in a live or pre-recorded clip or whatever it was, most of the time I've been very accurate to sort of judge not just the person, yes, that happens too, but judge their motives, judge what they're actually doing, not just what they're saying. And then 9 times out of 10, years later, time passes and I see that I was correct, or at least mostly correct, to where I did not feel regret about the things that I told others on my news channels or personal profiles where I was sharing news, that kind of thing. So I say all that to say that not only am I totally confident that Trump is going to be the president again officially, but even that I think he already still is. And we've had some very interesting times and things going on. And yes, there's plenty of documentation already out there that supports what I just said, but you're not going to see it, you're not going to know it unless you look for yourself. And it's just like so many other things that we've been experiencing and living through the last 3-4 years now, especially. And so I would just encourage you all and recommend to you all that whatever it is, if you feel like you haven't got the whole story on something, it could be for your own health, it could be medical related, it could be, it could be so many different things. Whatever it is that you would like to know more about, I would just encourage you that the normal sources that we've been accustomed to our entire lives, they haven't been reliable. And I found that out myself the hard way the last, let's say, roughly 8 years since I started to really dig into it for myself. And I had to go outside the normal sources to get satisfactory answers. And for me, like I said, it was discernment and my empathy, those talents that I had. So part of the way that I had to figure out and make my own decision was to find more videos of people that I wanted to see talking, and documentation too, of course. But for me, there's so much information that I've been able to gather from just watching people talk. And for some of you, that seems crazy, but when you are a human lie detector and you can pick up on body language and tiny little cues, and then, of course, years later also see the actions and the follow through and the things that happen, then it's just, it reconfirms the things that a few years ago I may have not been totally sure about, but along with the Holy Spirit, God showing me that I was on the right track every step of the way, it just all, like I said, it reconfirms and affirms what I was feeling and believing that was right. So, I know I feel like I'm going in circles already because I'm trying to say so much to you in a short amount of time. But I really do have a lot of passion for whether it be natural foods, natural everything. The last couple of years, I've really become passionate about that, and news and other things, because I really do care about you, my audience. And for me, it's really not being about having 1 million subscribers and everything, except for the fact that I would love for many people to enjoy the music that I make. But for those of you who have been following along, or just starting to today or this week, I really do care about each of you, whether it was 10 of you or 10 million of you. And like I've said before, my health personally, both mental and physical and spiritual, or all three I should say, has greatly improved the last few years, simply because I've been able to, and blessed, to use all the new insight that I've found, discovered, and implement it for myself. And I was never a kind of herbalist person, somebody who's, all organic or anything like that. But I just learned the hard way, honestly, like 99% of us need to. And I just started looking into all the details of things, and it's like one thing per week now out of the pantry or bathroom or something is being switched out now because I keep discovering something else new. And I just think that every little bit counts, to have a healthier body. Supposedly every 7 years your body regenerates itself. So how does it do that? It comes from the foods and the waters and stuff that you put in your body. So that's important, right? And that's part of how I tried to sell it to my son recently, because those junk foods, processed foods, chemicals, it's not good. And you may not realize the bad effects 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. It's so subtle, and it can take so long for it to creep up on you. And then one day you're at some clinic and you get some not so good news. And I've been in that position myself, and that's another long medical kind of story. But it's another one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about making sure that I use my musical abilities, my songs, everything that I want to share with you. I want to wrap it up into a nice little neat package, as neat as I can, along with news, health info, whatever it is. And I don't do it very often. That's not really the main goal of my channel, obviously. But when I feel inspired or motivated to share something extra with you, I just want you to really consider what I'm saying, because, like I said, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a politician, I'm not a million other kinds of titles of people who go on the screen and tell us this is what you're supposed to do. But the skills that I have, I think in many ways are more important and more usable for the average person, because, like I said, my discernment and my empathic abilities are, I believe, sky high. And I'm not here to brag about my skills either. Like I said, there's times where it's been an amazing skill to have, talents, and other times where I wish I could just turn it off, because it also means that every day I'm spending time thinking about what I'm going to do next, what I'm going to say next, how I'm going to change my strategy, reflect back on what I've done in the past, how accurate it was, and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've been very early on ahead of the game, trying to influence those in my circle on different places online, that I really saw what was happening, what was coming in the days ahead. But just to wrap up on a positive note, and again, like I said, not only do I fully believe that Trump is going to be back, but I believe that those wheels were set in motion since back in 2016, and everything that's been happening as far as the positive side was planned in advance. But we're still going through obviously a crazy time in the world, And I want you all to have hope. I want you all to pray for the guidance. You know, if you've never just asked God, show me what to do, it doesn't have to be like, give me a sign. Just guide me where you want me to go on whatever it is, whatever subject, whatever challenge. And I can just tell you for myself, when I've done that, He has guided me somehow, some way. But I am really, really positive about the next year, especially, and going into this election on November 5th. I'm really excited. I know things look bleak in a lot of ways, not just for the US, but a lot of countries, a lot of places. And no doubt there are bad people who really want to do very bad things, and have been for our entire lives. But like I said, I want to end with a positive note, because I am discerning and seeing the things that are transpiring, and there's so much that's in preparation for much better days ahead. But while we're still here, use this time, use these challenging times, whether it's money or relationships or whatever it is. Now is the time to use it for your benefit, to make changes, because if and when things greatly improve in the next few years, even if it's just for a time, you're not going to be as likely to change for the better or make those changes if things improve in the country, in the economy, whatever it is. Now is the time to look at the products that you use, your diet, your exercise, your goals, and basically just say, yeah, it's tough. Things are not good right now, but I'm going to do my best anyway. And so that's what I'm trying to do with the music. It's not always easy to take the hour or two, sometimes more, to put out a song every day or every other day. And then, I also want to write songs and do all kinds of recording and stuff. It's not always easy, but it's a passion for me, and I know that I want to do it. So if you have a passion, then nothing should stop you from accomplishing whatever that is, even if it's tough, even if you have good days or bad days. But for me, music being the number one passion, that's what helps me to do the other things, like diet and exercise and trying to take good care of myself. Because I know that if I feel better and am better physically and mentally, spiritually, all those things, I'm reading the Word, studying it, and also constantly trying to use all of these things to be better in my daily life, then naturally I'm going to be more on the right path and stay on track for my goals. And it's true. I've been trying harder than ever to do that the last few years, and it works. It's happening. What you sow, you shall reap. And don't take my advice for it. Anything you need advice on, just start doing a Bible search. Go online, whatever topic it is, and bam, find 10 or 20 verses that talk about whatever you're dealing with, or whatever you have questions about. So yes, this is long, and longer than I was planning on making the video, but as far as I'm concerned, even if one or two of you are still listening, then yes, there is a reason for it. And I do believe that God brought you to wherever you are at this moment for a reason. So don't waste it. If you're being challenged, if you're struggling, don't waste it. Because now is that opportunity to make a change, go in a different direction, and so you don't have to learn the lesson again. Just learn it now, whatever that lesson is in life, and move on. And then you'll always be able to look back at that moment. Doesn't matter what age you are, and look back at that moment as I recognized I needed to make a change, and I did, and I'm glad I did. So I don't like to have regrets in life, even though sometimes it's really hard to accept that you're wrong about something and go in a different direction. That's just how I've always been. I'm always very aware of my faults and what I want to improve on, no matter how good I may be doing at the time. But so I hope that's all a positive note. But like I said, one more time, I'm really excited and hopeful about 2024 and 25. Despite all the craziness, despite what you see on the TV, and I don't even watch TV. I haven't hardly for years, unless it's just a movie I want to watch. But find reliable people that you can learn from and trust, and use your discernment, because I would say now more than maybe any time in world history, that's a critical skill. And it's even more critical than being whatever title and being the so-called go-to person on a certain topic. So I guess I'll wrap it up there. So if you're still watching, I don't know how often I'm going to do these videos. It hasn't been very often, but just know that my music is and will always be a representation of all the things I've learned and discerned, and an attempt to share it with you all in a way that speaks through music and is more powerful than words, because music really is a universal language. And between the songs and lyrics themselves and the 432 hertz frequencies, I really do believe and pray that it will bless you beyond words and mean more than just songs. So I hope you'll just continue enjoying the music and being blessed by it if you have been. And if you're just joining my channels, then welcome. And I'll just wrap it up there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Probably a new song today or tomorrow, like usual. And I hope you have a good one. Bye for now.